Scooby and Brian on SportsCenter. We're entering the final day of the regular season in the NBA, and the Wild Wild West is must-see TV. 4 teams are fighting for 3 spots to stay out of the play-in tournament. The Nuggets have arguably the easiest path, a win versus Houston, and they're in the playoffs as the 4 seed. Plus, losses by either the Warriors or the Wolves would also secure the Nuggets a playoff spot. As for the Timberwolves, if they beat a Jazz team that's heading into the draft lottery, they'll avoid the play-in. That task should be easier with Anthony Edwards avoiding suspension after getting his 18th technical foul rescinded yesterday, so he's available. The most pivotal game of the afternoon, however, is on ESPN at 3:30 p.m. The Clippers visit the Warriors. If LA wins and Denver loses, then the Clippers leap to the 4th seed. A Clippers win guarantees that they're the 4th or 5th seed, but they cannot finish 6th due to tiebreakers. As for the Warriors, they cannot finish higher than 6th, but can clinch the 6th seed with a win against the Warriors. All right, we got to talk basketball, so we're bringing in Quentin Richardson to cook here on SportsCenter. And Q, the thing about this game that's coming up with the Warriors and the Clippers, the Warriors have essentially been in the playoffs for the last couple of weeks. And Steph Curry has said that he's going to treat this game like it is a Game 7. So give us one key matchup that we should be looking for.
Man, I got to go with the Kawhi-Jimmy Butler matchup. I mean, everybody knows that the Warriors go as far, as Steph goes. So that goes without being said. But I think Jimmy Butler, this is why he was brought here. He needs to be that other superstar guy that can release some of the pressure on Steph Curry and give him a chance to rest in games and also just give them a stronger scoring option. Obviously, Kawhi, being back in the lineup, being who he is, all-star level Kawhi Leonard, he makes the LA Clippers a totally different team, and he gives them that super-duper star who's been to the finals, who's been a finals MVP and gotten the job done.
Yeah, it's going to be such a fun matchup, and ever since Jimmy Butler has joined the Warriors, they've also been cooking. They are 23-7 since they got him on February 8th. However, the loss against the Spurs earlier this week was really costly for the Warriors. That was the worst upset loss in the last 2 seasons, and now Golden State is in a must-win situation against a Clippers team that's now won 17 of 20. So give us a few keys to this game that you see in the Clippers versus the Warriors.
I need the Warriors to bring that three-point shooting that they need, that's part of their identity in their defense. Their three-point shooting and defense is what's going to make the difference here. We know how good the Warriors can be when everybody's making threes, the Pajenskis, the Moody's, the Currys, and everybody. But their defense is what really puts them over the top, led by Draymond doing what he does defensively, playing himself back into a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. That's what they need to do, lock in and lock up the Clippers. As far as the Clippers, man, this is what they do. You need their paint dominance from Big Zoo. Big Zoo has been a problem in that paint the whole entire year. He's a high-level double-double rebound machine, and he gets it done offensively at a high efficiency clip in that paint. He doesn't miss a lot of shots around the basket. So if they can dominate that paint, because the Warriors are small up front, so if they can dominate that paint, that will pose a huge problem for the Warriors.
Yeah, we cannot wait for that matchup. And for Warriors fans out there, the Warriors are 0-3 in 2 play-in appearances, so they're definitely looking to avoid a Q. Really appreciate your time, brother. Enjoy the warm weather out there.
Yes, sir. You enjoy that.
Scooby and Brian on SportsCenter. We're entering the final day of the regular season in the NBA, and the Wild Wild West is must-see TV. 4 teams are fighting for 3 spots to stay out of the play-in tournament. The Nuggets have arguably the easiest path, a win versus Houston, and they're in the playoffs as the 4 seed. Plus, losses by either the Warriors or the Wolves would also secure the Nuggets a playoff spot. As for the Timberwolves, if they beat a Jazz team that's heading into the draft lottery, they'll avoid the play-in. That task should be easier with Anthony Edwards avoiding suspension after getting his 18th technical foul rescinded, so he's available. The most pivotal game of the afternoon is on ESPN at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. The Clippers visit the Warriors. If LA wins and Denver loses, then the Clippers leap to the 4th seed. The Clippers win guarantees that they're the 4th or 5th seed, but they cannot finish 6th due to tiebreakers. As for the Warriors, they cannot finish higher than 6th, but can clinch that 6th seed with a win against LA or a loss by the Timberwolves. It's the final day of the NBA regular season, so you got to have Tim McMahon on the show to talk some hoops, right? So, Tim, Steph Curry re-injured his thumb on Friday against the Portland Trail Blazers. What's his status heading into the game?
Howdy, Scooby. Officially, Steph is questionable. I would be shocked, and people within the Warriors would be shocked if he's not on the floor today. The question isn't so much, will Steph Curry play? It's how much will that thumb affect him? As you said, he sprained it on Sunday. It is an injury that he had earlier this season in early January. Now, he came back in January and still managed to shoot 40+% from three-point range. But we'll see how that feels for him just a couple of days after suffering this recent re-aggravation.
All right, so there's still a lot to play for in the Western Conference. Starting with the Timberwolves, they got a little bit of a boost today with Anthony Edwards getting that technical foul rescinded. So what is the latest on that team and Ant?
Well, listen, you might say, hey, it's the Utah Jazz. They don't have any interest in winning. That's a team that right now is tied for number one in the lottery standings with the Washington Wizards and probably doesn't want to screw it up. Guess what, though? Ant has been suspended one game this season when he got that 16th technical. It was against the Jazz in Utah, and the Timberwolves managed to lose that game. So certainly a relief for the Timberwolves that Ant Edwards will be in uniform today, and they can stay out of the play-in scenario with a win. Now, the Houston Rockets raised some eyebrows around the league when the injury reports came out. Most of those injury reports for teams are extremely long, not for the Rockets. They are playing all of their key guys today after giving most of them a rest in the last game. It will probably be a preseason type of tune-up against the Nuggets, who can clinch 4 with a win. The Phoenix Suns, the painful, miserable Phoenix Suns season is finally going to end today in Sacramento. Along with that, almost certainly will the one-and-done tenure of Mike Budenholzer as the Suns coach. The widespread anticipation throughout the league is that Matt Ishbia, the Suns owner for the third time in 3 years, will move on from his head coach at the end of the season.
Wow, that is back-to-back years that they have fired their head coach. A lot of drama.
On SportsCenter, the NBA regular season comes to an end today. Golden State has been a completely different team with Jimmy Butler since February 8th. They're 23-7 over that span, third best record in the league behind the Thunder and the Celtics. The Clippers, they enter today's matchup on a 7-game win streak. That's tied with the Bucks for the longest active win streak in the NBA. The Clips haven't won 8 straight games since 2023 when it won 9 straight. And if LA wins, Denver loses, then the Clippers leap to the 4th seed. Clipper win guarantees that they're the 4th or the 5th seed, but they can't finish 6th due to tiebreakers. And as for the Warriors, they can't finish any higher than 6, but with that 6th seed, they'll clinch that with a win or a loss to the T-Wolves. So with that at stake, let's bring in our Anscape NBA reporter, David Dennis Jr., and let's talk specifically Golden State and the Clippers. What matchup are you looking for in that game, David?
Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of offensive firepower, a lot of offensive stars in this game, but this is a defensive matchup. This is going to be a rock fight defensively between these two teams, which means the matchup that everybody has to keep an eye on is that defense anchored by Draymond Green on the Warriors side and the defense anchored by Ivica Zubac on